We're going to talk about fantasy would you rather, gentlemen. I put together, we're going to call it 20 different combinations of players going right next to each other. This is fantasy would you rather. I might have, you know what? It's actually 19 players. I have a mystery one I'm going to throw in there that has nothing to do with football. Sorry, you might know what it's about because I'm a weirdo. Let's get right into this, boys. You ready to get in this?
Let's do it.
Yep. Let's get after it.
All right. First one. This is PPR. We're going on PPR. JSN or Jamar Chase. Tom TD, I'm going to throw this to you. Who are you taking, JSN or Jamar Chase?
Give me Jamar Chase. I mean, talent alone is one thing, and that's not to take away anything of the talent of JSN. A lot of it has to do with the offense, like just team structure, I'll say it. Bengals have done about as much as Dallas has done to, improve their defense. So they're going to be a team that has to score 40 points to win. As much as I like Chase Brown, he's not a grinder. They're not a team that's going to wear you out on the ground and control time of possession. Seattle's got that defense that, you've seen can just wear you down in multiple ways. And even with Walker gone, like they still want to be a run-first team. And while JSN is as good as he is, a lot of the production comes downfield. So, if Darnold regresses back to the guy that we all thought he was before these last 2 years, even a little bit, then, some of those deeper shots, some of those downfield productions where it's just Darnold hucking up a ball and it's just JSN with nobody else around him. Like if those numbers come back to earth a little bit, I think the gap between him and Chase is much wider.
What do you got, Story?
Yeah, I agree. I'm taking Jamar Chase over Jackson Smith and Jigba. I don't think it's particularly close. Chase, I'm predicting him for like a 28% target share this year. I mean, he's the engine there with Joe Burrow. And TD mentioned it, the defense differential between the subpar Bengals defense and the outstanding Seahawks defense, even though they lost some pieces in the offseason. The disparity there is too great. I think JSN is going to be closer to like a 24% target share. I don't think the volume is going to be quite as there as it was in this past year. Give another year with Rashid Shaheed give him a full offseason and a bit of a more spread attack there. So for me, I'm chasing, touchdowns. Jamar Chase has got double-digit touchdown upside. He's got number one overall player upside, if you ask me. I'm drafting for ceiling. He's been the number one. Give me the proven ceiling. This is not a breakout. I get the JSN broke out this past year, but give me the guy that's been there and should continue to do it with this team that loves, if they throw the ball 480 times this year, it wouldn't surprise me.
So they're going back-to-back, essentially ADP currently in underdog and best ball drafts, like 3 and 4. 4 and 5 right there. So it's Puka, it's JSN, it's Jamar Chase in no particular order. So here's the stats for Jamar Chase last year. In a down year, Joe Burrow getting hurt, the team just really, really just going to shit. 125 catches, 1,412 yards, and 8 touchdowns. The touchdowns were low. But like even in this bad year, 125 catches, 1,400 yards, and 8 touchdowns. And the year before that, 17 touchdowns, 1,700 yards. Like he is a lock for 100 catches, and his touchdown upside is as good as anyone in the NFL, and that includes running backs. That's what we're talking about. So it's Jamar Chase pretty easily. I throw that in there because I think a lot of people are going to take JSN ahead of Jamar Chase in full PPR, and that's generally a mistake. I don't care about T. Higgins. Look at the quarterbacks. Like Tom made a good point. Joe Burrow is not going to regress. Joe Burrow is a monster. Sam Darnold might regress, and then Story, your point of the defense. Like those two things right there. There's a lot of ways where JSN will still be a fine top 5 receiver, but he does not have number 1 overall wide receiver upside. Next name here, next 2 names, Jonathan Taylor or CMC. Again, this is full PPR. Story, Jonathan Taylor or CMC.
I'm going back to the well with Jonathan Taylor. JT was having an outstanding season before Daniel Jones got hurt. That entire offense fell off the rails when he tore his Achilles. I mean, we've seen multiple seasons pacing for 300-plus touches for Jonathan Taylor. CMC's touch share went down. They dipped to closer to 20 recently this past year. So you got a younger guy. You got a cleaner workload outlook, I think. I'm going to bet on the volume here, and I'm going to bet on Daniel Jones coming back to form. I'll take the 300 touches over hoping for, because you're going to need elite efficiency from CMC if his volume is going to continue to decrease. And he's getting older. So I want JT all day long.
Tom, you disagree. I already tell. I can see his body language.
Full PPR?
Yeah.
Full PPR.
Yes,
CMC.
sir.
No more questions, Your Honor.
Yep.
No, it's.
I might even take CMC and half PPR, but give me your spiel.
I mean, outside of the injury concerns, and I get the age disparity is something to worry about, and the injury concerns are obviously real. But personally, like when I do all of my stat outs, projections, and how I develop my rankings, I always give it a full run through because in my equation I have an injury coefficient, but I like to give it a full plain run through, no injury coefficient in there, and just see how everything plays out. And the last 4, 5, 6 years, I don't remember off the top of my head, but it's never not been CMC at 1. And it's always by a large margin because when you see it, when the guy's healthy, he blows the rest of the competition out of the water. And even on even if his efficiency were to take a bit of a hit, I don't know the number off the top of my head, but how much did he clear the running back field by this last year?
I would argue that this would have been Jonathan Taylor's year if Daniel Jones hadn't torn his Achilles. I mean, he had multiple games with 3+ touchdowns, at least 3. That's insane. I mean, that is just nobody else in the league has that upside. CMC doesn't have the touchdown upside that JT has.
No, and I'm not gonna say fight you on that. And I was happy to see them throw the ball as much to Taylor this year as they did. Just getting him the ball and letting him work paid dividends in full this year. And I mean, I know modern medicine is advancing, but the Achilles is not what the ACL is now. Like the ACL is an 8-month recovery window at that, as long as you're not Jermod McCoy. And I mean, we see these guys coming back from the ACLs left and right. It's the Achilles that's kind of the next thing that modern medicine needs to attack, because that's, I mean, going back to who was the Texans running back? Deonta Foreman ruptured his Achilles, and it was like
Foreman came back pretty well.
Yeah, but it took him 2 years
down the road. It was years down the road. Right. Yeah, exactly.
And that's the thing is with Jones being as, I want to call him as mobile. I mean, he's relatively a mobile quarterback, and I think his game is going to be hampered and limited, and like I think we're going to see a shell of him for the first few weeks of the season. And again, barring any sort of injuries, if we're projecting health for these guys, I think that slow start to what the Colts have potentially with Jones and his Achilles could be the difference there.
To play devil's advocate there, they could just rely heavily on Jonathan Taylor, and the workload could just be insane. 28 touches a game. So just food for thought.
No, I mean,
no, I get that, but also game script, right? Like, I'm really worried about this Colts team. Like, they literally ignored everything in free agency and just said we need Daniel Jones and we need Alec Pierce. Like, I understand they were important parts of the team, but like those are not guys you need to like prioritize like they did. Like, you're not winning a Super Bowl, you're not winning a goddamn division with Daniel Jones and Alec Pierce as your best two pieces in the passing game. I'm sorry, it's just not happening, especially Daniel Jones coming off an Achilles. So Story's point of the volume is important, and if it was half PPR, I'd have much closer a debate with you. But the full PPR, and again, I think CMC's film was very pedestrian last year, but I'm looking at which offense can I trust to be elite, and it's going to be the 49ers by pretty large margin. So I think CMC has one last year in him, and it's at minimum you're getting 80 catches. Like, you can't really catch that if you're JT. I just don't feel like you can catch that unless the Colts revert back to what we saw the first 10 weeks of last year, which I just don't see happening. Story, do you have a confidence that this offense can get back to what we saw?
The Colts? Yeah, I think that Achilles used to be death knells for injuries, and medicine has advanced to the point that you're seeing guys come back. Daniel Jones was injured early enough in the season. Probably won't be ready. At least he won't be full strength for week 1. But people are out there talking about Patrick Mahomes, who tore his ACL on December 15th, and him coming back. And I get that Achilles is a lot more distressing than an ACL. But people are talking about Patrick Mahomes coming back 9 months later, less than 9 months later. That is just absolutely wild. And we can't think that Daniel Jones can come back within a little under a year. At the same time, like, all right, George Kittle is dealing with an Achilles. Juwan Johnson has packed up and is probably going to leave. You've got no Brandon Ayuk, who actually is the offense. What makes you think the offense is going to be as prolific when they don't have any real pieces to throw to there to keep the ball moving?
Kyle Shanahan. End of story. Story you love,
Mike
Shanahan.
Evans.
Get the hell out of here.
I'm just saying they're in, unless they rebuild through the draft, they're in trouble this year on offense, I think.
I mean, I think Mike Evans is going to be a nice enough piece for him.
The Colts are in trouble too,
Yeah, Dad.
guys.
You need some of this.
This is cum.
All right, next names here. This is close to TD's heart. CeeDee Lamb or Justin Jefferson. Story, I'm going to let you lead this one. CeeDee Lamb or Justin Jefferson, full PPR. Both going picks 8 to 12, end of the first round-ish.
Yeah, I think this one's pretty clearly CeeDee Lamb. At least for me, it is. You got a guy when healthy. He's a top 5 red zone targets among all wide receivers every single year since his rookie year. He's got, we've got multiple seasons with upwards of 28% target share. He's extremely versatile. They move him around the formation quite a bit. That I have a lot of faith that Cowboys offense is going to be very good again this year. You got a weekly floor with him, which we saw does not exist with Justin Jefferson anymore. A better TD environment. So I get it. Justin Jefferson is an elite talent, but the whole environment around him is a little suspect. So give me Lamb's usage. I'm going to take CeeDee Lamb over JJ.
All right, TD, you going to put your homer hat on, or are you going to go with one of the best receivers maybe of all time in Justin Jefferson?
I mean, not going to argue where Justin Jefferson's talent ranks amongst receivers today's NFL, past NFL. I mean, the dude's phenomenal, but Story hit on the environment, and that's the biggest thing for me is you see the target share with Lamb. Coverage, defensive coverage against Dallas gears more towards Pickens and stopping Pickens. And they roll safeties that way. They're the one, while Lamb can do anything from wherever he's at on the formation, Pickens is the guy that defenses needed to stop because he's that downfield threat. He's the one that'll flip a field in a heartbeat, one play, 80-yard touchdown. So, rolling coverage away from CeeDee Lamb, while it doesn't typically sound like a good idea, with Pickens on the other side of him, at least for this next year, you still have to. And I'm not sold on McCarthy. I'm not sold on Kyler. I'm not sold on that Vikings offense as a whole. I think they stagnantly got worse this free agency. I mean, I would have liked them to see them let go of Aaron Jones, let him walk in free agency, do something else at running back. I feel like he's enough of a stopgap to the point where he's going to mitigate their rushing attack, and then asking whoever you're going to have to play quarterback there, whether that's McCarthy missing JJ or Kyler not seeing over the line. There's a little bit of faith probably around mid-season when they don't decide to pay Addison and try to trade him. Maybe he gets a little bit more of a target share, but I think at that point the gap's already going to be decided between the two.
My answer is also CeeDee Lamb, but I feel like the upside is with Justin Jefferson. If Kyler can get back to what he was with Hopkins, the Vikings schedule is cupcake. They're playing a 4th place schedule. I don't know the divisions offhand, but I think they play the NFC South and the AFC East. I think it's pretty easy schedule they have. And Justin Jefferson is hungry, man. He is hungry. He is elite. He is, in my mind, the best receiver in football, him and Jamar Chase. But Kyler Murray is not Dak Prescott. You have some moving parts there. And give me CeeDee Lamb for the safety. I'm not taking Jefferson, but I see the appeal of Jefferson. I can't believe how he's going. We talked about this last year's story. We were thinking he's going to be like a late to mid-second round pick. Motherfucker's already going end of the first round. And that was because the Kyler rumors. Now Kyler's there, so it's like that's too rich for me. And CeeDee Lamb he doesn't have the upside of the top 4 receivers. Even St. Brown has more upside, but CeeDee Lamb is just set in stone. 100 catches, 1,200 yards, 8 touchdowns if he's healthy. All year.
Prescott could throw 40 touchdowns next year. I think they're going to cobble together 24 in the Vikings passing offense. So do the math there. Like there's an extra 16 touchdowns to go around, and there's 2 guys that catch. Well, I guess you got Ferguson there, but there's really 2 guys that catch touchdowns in. It's not like they have a huge spread out attack either in Dallas.
And
All
I will
right,
say,
next
like,
one here.
Going back
Go ahead,
to
Tom.
that story. No, yeah, I was just going to touch on what you said really quick. I could see once the more casual fan gets into fantasy, like I think you could see JJ's ADP go down a little bit, and then the chance to return a better value than Lamb is a potential. But as far as, who's going to finish higher, who's going to be the more productive one, I still think it's going to be Lamb, but I could see how JJ becomes a better value once we get closer to the season.
Yeah, maybe there's value there, but like safety, I think CeeDee Lamb is way more safe than Jefferson. And Rob, I'll disagree. I think CeeDee Lamb's got immense upside, more so than Justin Jefferson does.
I guess we're all off on Justin Jefferson. Next one, maybe we'll have some disagreement here. We all agreed on CeeDee Lamb, although I was more trepidatious. James Cook or Ashton Genty? Tom, full PPR. James Cook's been a stud. He's killed his ADP the last couple of years. Now he's going in the first round. They're both going at that 1-2 turn. Who you taking?
This one was tough for me. And I know one of the first times I was on here, I half-heartedly alluded to Genty being potentially Trent Richardson. But I'm going to go with Genty on this one. I like the moves that the Raiders have made to this point in fortifying some of their offense and, honestly, a lot of their defense. And obviously getting the young rookie quarterback in there, who's going to be his best friend, the running back in Bowers. And while I don't think the Raiders were in a real good position to take the luxury pick of Genty last year, and you saw the struggles that he incurred just with that line not doing anything for him, I think this year you're going to see the volume pay dividends, and that's what's kind of the difference to me in this one is how efficient Cook has been versus just the sheer volume that I think gives you the safer floor with Genty and his ability to, his low contact balance, his ability to break tackles. I mean, I think it's going to be hard to keep this guy out of the end zone this year. While, Cook will rip off his handful of longer end touchdown runs, so on and so forth. I think Genty's going to be getting the ball a lot this year.
Shout out, Jonathan. Appreciate you. Can't wait for Dynasty. He says Genty all day this year. What's up, peeps? Story, you agree with Jonathan? Are we all on Genty? Because I'm a spoiler. I'm on Genty as well.
Yeah, no, I agree. I get where you're coming from, Tom, but for me, I agree with Jonathan. This is Genty all day long. The fact that
he said Genty.
Yeah, I know. I'm saying
Genty or was that attention?
Tom was saying it was a little closer for him. This one he went a little back and forth.
Yeah.
I thought for me pretty easily Ashton, at least for me. The Bills, they promoted Joe Brady. The fact that they did promote Joe Brady, who was the orchestrator of a mediocre offense, or at least a very vanilla offense, tells me they're not a serious organization. Whereas I agree with Tom. I like what the Raiders are doing. They understood the assignment this offseason. We're getting Mendoza, so we need to protect them. Having that center is only going to bolster the line. It's going to be great for Genty. It's a volume play there. They're going to give him a ton of work. Nobody's taking Genty off the field inside the 20, inside the 5, inside the 2-yard line. Mendoza's not going to be sneaking. You got on the other side, you've got Josh Allen there. He's taking everything inside the 5. Cook's got under 10 carries per year inside the 5-yard line on average. It's just there's not unless he rips off those long touchdowns, and they're probably going to get it. Yeah, you're going to have spike weeks where he gets two long touchdowns. I project a full role for Ashton Genty in year 2. It's a floor, it's a ceiling play. Cook needs to maintain that efficiency. I think Genty is going to make his own touchdowns. I really like Genty over Cook this year.
I love Genty just to play devil's advocate because we need someone to do it. It would be James Cook improvement in the passing game. So last year, 33 receptions, 2024, 32, 2023 at 44. I feel like Joe Brady is just a moron. Unfortunately, he's now the head coach as well as the coordinator. But James Cook is a player that's worthy of 60 receptions, 80 targets a year, especially when they have no receivers. That was the most wild thing last year with the receiver core and the tight ends being banged up. They're running out there, and then James Cook getting 40 targets. What are they doing? James Cook is probably your second best pass catcher, but now bringing in DJ Moore, probably drafting someone in day 2. You know, they're not going to need him to catch as many passes. The upside is that he does catch more passes. He's going to be in definitely a better offense. And maybe, just maybe, Josh Allen doesn't have 14 rushing touchdowns, right? Maybe they cruise to a 7-1 record. Maybe he has 8. And you know, but again, I'm going Ashton Genty as well. I just can see it's closer than I think Story wants to say. We've been getting a giant discount on James Cook for years, and now the discount's gone. And we drafted Ashton Genty in the first round last year, and he fucked all of our buttholes. I didn't draft him. I'm saying the community's buttholes, right? Not our community, because you all knew not to draft him, but the fantasy players' buttholes. There's a lot of butthole talk here. He fucked them. And this is the time that people are going to be off of him. We're all on him because the workload is safe. It's 300 touches minimum if he stays healthy, and is also a guy doesn't count to be hurt. He's a monster of a man. He's like Maurice Jones-Drew on steroids and taller. Love him. And Linderbaum. We got Linderbaum there. And we don't have Pete Carroll's son coaching the offensive line. A lot of good stuff happening. All right, we're all in agreement. It's Ashton Genty.
For me, it is.
We are all in agreement. I love it. I do. I appreciate it, and
That's a nice muscular throwing arm you got there.
Thanks.
Got a nice tip for you right here in my pocket for my arthritis. Why don't you reach in there and fish it out for yourself?
All right, this one's going to be a little tougher. It is a Marion Hampton or Saquon Barkley full PPR Story. What do you got?
So this one was a lot closer. This one was extremely difficult. But I'm going to go with Barkley. I think that, Barkley, we've seen seasons with 1,600-plus total yards and 50-plus receptions. We've seen the touchdowns. You got a dual threat role there, right? We're projecting Marion Hampton's role here, and I think it'll grow. There's a lot of people excited about the Chargers, and I understand why. This is one of those, like, when everybody's zigging, you zag. I feel like the Chargers are getting steamed up very heavily this year. Regardless, Barkley's the anchor running back. They got rid of Pachulo. They hired Sean Mannion. He brings coaching experience from the McVay and Shanahan trees. I think they're going to get back to form with that offense. I think Jalen Hurts is a value too, but give me the proven guy. It was a down year last year. His ADP suppressed, but give me the guy that's got 1,500-yard upside over what we hope Omar Hampton could be.
Tom, what do you got?
I know hope's not usually a good plan, but that's my plan on this one. I'm leaning Hampton, and I like what the Chargers are doing. Obviously you get Alton Slater back healthy as your tackles. You sign Cowboys great, Tyler Biadasz. Shameless plug. They've getting back. Went and signed Ellie Kohler. Solely a blocking tight end. Like, what they want to do. I know how good of a quarterback Herbert is, but I don't think Harbaugh wants him throwing the ball as much as they had to last year with him. And the lack of competition there is really, like, I think that's kind of the difference. Kind of with Barkley in the same vein as we were talking about, Cook and Allen. It's like Hurts is going to get his near the end zone. And while Barkley is a very competent pass catcher, part of it was the Kellen Moore thing, but just in general, they haven't utilized Barkley as much as they need to in the passing game. And part of that's because their running game is so effective. You've got other pieces there that you need to get the ball to, so on and so forth. I think the offense in general is a little bit more condensed in LA, and I think Hampton's going to be the focal point as far as what makes that defense or that offense go, and just use him to impose on defenses, because we saw it when he was at North Carolina. The guy wears on you as the game goes on.
I was not a Hampton fan coming out of the draft, and last year, early in the season, his film was dog shit. But coming back from the injury, he looked pretty good. So I really don't have an answer for you guys in this one, because it's about your risk tolerance, right? Saquon's definitely safer, And I could also make the argument that Saquon has more upside because if A.J. Brown leaves especially, you're going to get Saquon Barkley is a guy we've seen have 70 catches in an NFL season. Like, the guy hasn't forgotten how to be a good receiving back. The stupid-ass Eagles refuse to throw him the ball. And that's a part of his game where Hampton's a fine receiver. Saquon Barkley's an elite receiver. And I like Mike McDaniel hiring, so I see both ends of it. So I think I'm going to lean Hampton because I play aggressive. I think Barkley's probably the answer. I think Barkley is the safer choice. But I'm going to go Hampton. If they don't bring anyone in, it's going to be Hampton for me. But this is as close as I can get. I really could. I think if I had 10 drafts where I could pick both of them, I might spread it out and go 6 Hampton, 4 Barkley, or maybe 5-5, honestly. Am I crazy for saying that? This is close, right? Both of you guys, it's very close, or is it not close for you?
It's close. And if I was doing multiple drafts, I would try to split my ownership shares. But like push comes to shove, I'm still going to take Barkley because it was a terrible year last year, but that helps with his ADP. And we kind of forget that he almost ran into 2,000 rushing yards the year before. Like the dude is just an absolute monster. He didn't forget, like you said, Rob, he didn't forget how to learn how to be a passing back, right? And what's the sticking point going to be this year? It's going to be, let's get the ground game going. That's how we're going to win games this year. And I think the A.J. Brown nonsense is going to be behind them very shortly. So yeah, it's close, but I'm still rolling with Barkley.
One thing we didn't mention is the fact that Dallas Goedert had 13 touchdowns last year. Like that, and then A.J. Brown fucking pouting bullshit. Like all the targets he got, that were not unnecessary, but he got like 10% more targets than he probably deserved because Jalen Hurts was like, I got to make this guy happy. And like those targets, those touches, and those touchdowns to Goddard were really, really a big issue. Like, I know the efficiency wasn't great for Barkley, but like, he should have had. That's just simple. Dallas Goedert 13 touchdowns. What are we talking about? Those were all like designed little double passes and little fucking flat routes. Like that's unreal. Like he had more touchdowns than Saquon. Like wrap your head around that for a second. No way that happens again. No way.
No, I mean they did re-sign Goddard, but 13 touchdowns for a tight end. Like that was one of the key sticking points with Pachulo's offense was getting the inside the red zone is targeting the tight end, and I don't think they're going to be that aggressive with it this year.
We got Wally in here still defending J.J. McCarthy. I'm a big McCarthy fan and believer. I still have faith in the kid. Only 23 years old, man. Wally, I love you, man, but they signed Carson Wentz. And so essentially they're not comfortable with J.J. McCarthy being the backup for Kyler Murray. This says all. Let's just take a little pivot here from our rankings and our list. This says all we need to know about what they think about J.J. McCarthy, right? It's over with. Like, why are they bringing in Carson Wentz?
Well, I mean, Carson possibly because of the injury history for J.J. McCarthy. I mean, Wentz didn't play well, I would say, but he played.
A third-string quarterback? What are we talking about, man? Like, no one brings in a third-string quarterback. It's wild.
You're asking me why I think? That's what I'm telling you. Like, that's what I don't know.
We don't know. Tom, is it because they're giving up on JJ, or is it just because they want to waste money on Carson fucking Wentz?
I think it's a contingency plan so they can give up on JJ. And, obviously they're hoping he's the future. And like I said earlier with my Hampton pick, hope is not a good plan. And this way, if Kyler ends up taking the job, I mean, you saw Wentz come in a 5-game stretch and get that just breathe new life into that offense that McCarthy was not providing them. And then, they had to fake the whole injury ordeal. It was weird how long he sat out with whatever his injury was.
Fucking ankle. It was an ankle, bro.
Yeah.
It was an ankle.
Right. Something that should have been like 2 weeks. And it's like, all right, it's
Josh Allen played through a broken bone in his foot for almost a third of the season, including the playoffs.
Roll the Matthew Stafford
games with a fucking ankle.
Roll the Matthew Stafford broken collarbone throw, and that's all you need to see.
Yeah. All right, let's move on, just because we can talk about J.J. McCarthy all fucking day. But it's just, you know what? Be happy you got Kyler Murray for $1.8 million. that's pretty great. But the whole McCarthy situation is very, very bad, right?
Yeah, bad. We got to definitely write a song about how we do not diddle kids. Do not diddle kids. It's no good diddling kids.
There is no quicker way for people to think that you are diddling kids than by writing a song.
Yeah.
All right, on to wide receivers here. We're moving on to the end of the second round, early third round. We're going in order here. George Pickens, close to Tom's heart, or Nico Collins. Story, George Pickens or Nico Collins. This is a toughie. This is a really toughie. Maybe
so
it's
if
not.
you had asked me 2 weeks ago, I would have said unequivocally George Pickens. But the signing of what's his name? The offensive tackles or not the tackle, the Wyatt Teller, the offensive guard that they signed, bolsters that line for me. So I think we were a little worried about them not making some moves early, but they signed a couple of free agents, and if they draft a center or they draft a left tackle, then I think that this is easily Nico Collins. As it is, it's close right now, but I'm still going to go with Nico Collins because of some of the advanced metrics, the yards per route run, which is a very predictive metric. You've got Nico Collins posting an elite yards per route run. A super efficient guy. Pickens could be a little volatile. I have a little concerns about what's above the neck, the up here. I know Stroud doesn't really elevate guys, but he's got a consistent floor there. So it's tough. It's close, but I'm going to stick with Nico Collins.
Tom, before you answer, since you're our resident Cowboys fan, sorry to hear that, by the way, give us the breakdown of what you see happening with the contract with him. And for me, I'm just going to lay it out like this. The money Alec Pierce got, the money Wan'Dale Robinson got, shows me if George Pickens repeats last year, George Pickens is going to be the highest paid receiver in the NFL. It sucks he has to wait because he would have been that right around that this season, but that's not the way the NFL works. You get the franchise tag, you're fucked. So how do you see this playing out? And then give me your take on Pickens or Nico after that.
It's not the way that the league plays it out. It's the way that Dallas operates, because they do their deals 3 years too late and end up paying damn near double. And as soon as I saw the Pierce contract come out, damn near dropped an F-bomb at work. And I'm just like, I know what this means for the Pickens signing. I'm like, and then, like you said, the Wan'Dale, just all of these guys, because, again, free agency, you pay good players like they're great players. So when a great player becomes available in free agency, you have to reset the market. And that's, as a Cowboys fan through and through, I want to see Pickens repeat the 1,429 yards again. Like, want to see the man excel. I know what it means for Dallas and their payment plan in the future, but he's
really taking this. He's taking this to heart because it's rough for him as a Cowboys fan.
No, it is, but at the same time, leaning back towards the Pickens Nico thing. I've been riding this fence all day ever since you sent me this list. This is the one that I've had the hardest time with. I ultimately think Dallas is going to pay him, and I think it's going to be a number that I don't want to see come out. But at the same time, we were going to bust the budget this year, word from Jerry's mouth, and we paid a safety $11 million a year, which is more than we've paid anybody in the last 10 years. I think Dante Fowler was the highest player in the last 10 years for Dallas free agent signings, and he got $9 million. So just the fact that we paid a safety $11 million, yes, that's something, but still a lot of money to spend. So at this point, I'm hoping we address some issues in the draft and use this expenditure of money that we have not spent yet and just shell it on Pickens at this point.
Are you taking Nico? Is that what I hear? You're taking Nico?
Yeah, that's kind of where I've been. I like the target share consolidation. Nico and Pickens both win in the same areas of the field. They're more downfield-esque targets, and a lot of it is what Story touched on. Fortifying that offensive line, because Stroud's not a mobile guy, and at this point in their career, neither is really Prescott. I mean, he'll throw on the run, but neither of these guys are hyper mobile. But as long as you can give Stroud a comfortable enough pocket, he'll make the throws 9 times out of 10. He's accurate for the most part. But it's, when you're getting pressure within seconds, it's guys got nowhere to go, and Nico wins downfield. So you got to give him time to get open downfield. Deeper separation metrics favor. I want to say last time I looked, they favored Collins over Pickens. I think Mike Evans was at the top, and Nico was top 4 or 5. But I've always been a Nico fan.
I am taking Nico, but it's razor thin as well for me because the upside is with Pickens, and particularly if they don't sign him and he gets his head on straight and he realizes that if he just like I said replicates last year, if he's on his best behavior, if he doesn't give up on routes, and this offense can go nuclear again, I think there's another step up the Cowboys offense can take because their offensive line wasn't great last year. I feel like they can be better. George Pickens could catch 15 touchdowns, right? Where CeeDee Lamb gets most of the yards and the catches, George Pickens has an 80 catch, 1,300 yard, 15 touchdown season. Now George Pickens is making $45 million a year. Where Nico with that team, with that defense in Houston, where they got Reed Blankenship now, that defense is better now. The volume is not there for Nico. We see Nico disappear. That's because of game script and because CJ Stroud sucks. George Pickens disappears because he chooses to disappear. So I'm still taking Nico, but it's really, you know what? Fuck it. I'm taking Pickens. I'm actually changing. I'm taking Pickens. I talked myself into it. That's why we do this show. Give me the upside of George Pickens. All right, next name. I love this one. Next names. We're doing it live. Tet McMillan or Garrett Wilson. Tom, what do you got?
I've got Tet here, and this one I didn't really dive into all that much as far as any sort of statistical backing. At this point, just looking at roster construction and how much the Jets are in disarray, and bringing back Geno Smith was apparently the best thing for them in their eyes. I like the trajectory that Bryce Young has been on after the point that he was borderline out of the league. And, definitely saw the flashes last year with Tet. I think he's more quarterback friendly when we're comparing lesser quarterbacks, the bigger target, catch radius. Wilson's probably a little bit better of a separator, short to intermediate areas of the field, but just the Tet being one of those guys that really extends, catches the ball, can body you out enough, uses size. I think that's going to lend him to a more consistent stat line throughout. And like I said, I didn't really dive into any metrics or numbers on this one. I just kind of trusted my eyes, and I think at this point, Panthers with Tet are better than Jets with Wilson.
I know Story's taking Garrett Wilson.
Ooh, you're wrong, actually. No, I'm not taking Garrett. Yeah, this one was close, but I went back and I looked, and Garrett Wilson has just one season with 6+ touchdowns, despite heavy targets. Now you throw out last year because of the injuries, but this is that is concerning. And the phrase "New York Jets" makes my skin crawl this year. The fact that Aaron Glenn is still the head coach there is a disgusting abomination. So McMillan is going to be second year. He profiles as a true red zone, a true alpha wide receiver. Bryce Young has made improvements in his short time in the NFL. I think you got tremendous ceiling with Tet McMillan, and it's going to be you better hope you get volume with Garrett Wilson. He's gotten volume, but if he doesn't get it this year, if he doesn't get the targets, it's going to be another bad season for Garrett Wilson. McMillan absolutely dominate touchdown scoring this year, so I'm in on Tet.
I'm taking Garrett Wilson. As you know, I've been a Garrett Wilson bro for a while. The quarterback play has been awful. The head coaching and offensive coordinator has been awful for him. And it's actually not getting much better. But a lot of people have been asking me the last week or so, they've been asking, who is this year's JSN? A guy that can ascend to this level of both elite fantasy and real life production. It's Garrett Wilson, dude. I think Garrett Wilson's as good as a player as JSN. I know it's a hot take, but JSN's a little more polished, I guess, even though he's younger. Garrett Wilson is a dog, bro. I know Story hates this saying is he's a dog. Garrett Wilson is a dude. He's a competitive fucking guy. You saw him last year ball out with Justin Fields, and then when it really became apparent how bad the situation was with Fields, with the coach, he gave up. He faked an injury. He stayed out longer. Like, he did as much as he could when he could. Garrett Wilson's a much better player than Ted McMillan, and I get the thing is Bryce Young is fine. We like Bryce Young, but it's not like he's tied to Brock Purdy. You know what I mean? He's a second-year player. Like, give me similar situations. Yes, Ted has a better situation. Garrett Wilson's a better player. It's full PPR. For me, this is pretty easily Garrett Wilson because I'm shooting for the moon here, and Garrett Wilson has that 120 catch upside with Geno Smith, who I'm going to throw last year out. I know it's a bad situation with the Raiders. Look what he did 2 years ago, 3 years ago. He hasn't lost it that much, and they're probably going to draft. They're probably going to draft a quarterback that might, maybe it's Simpson. Maybe Simpson starts the last 6 games. And you get a little Jackson Dart action. Saying there's a lot of different ways this can work. I'm definitely taking Garrett Wilson, and I like Tet too. I like both these guys at their cost. Really, it's end of the third, early fourth round. I like both these guys at cost.
Well, and for me, second-year wide receivers are the new third-year wide receivers. So I'm excited to see what Tet does with a full year in the NFL under his belt. Can he take that next leap forward? And I'm excited for it.
All right, I'm going to get to the intro here before we get to our next group of names. They're going to get a little grosser as we keep on going, and I'm excited about that. Hit you guys with the intro. We'll be back in 28 seconds. It makes him time to rip on Brandon Ayuk, that fucking piece of shit. What a turd. We hate Brandon Ayuk. You hate him as much as I do, Story?
I can never hate him because he helped me win a college fantasy football championship. So he'll never he might irritate me, but I'll never hate him. I'll always owe him a debt of gratitude.
Tom, you hate Brandon Ayuk. He's an idiot. He's a clown. He's a loser.
Hate. Double hate. Loathe entirely.
It's a lot of hates. Not to be too crazy on this show, but as you know, I don't give a fuck. I kept this clip on here for Brandon Ayuk. You can read between the lines. Here's the clip.
Very cute.
Oh,
What's his name?
It's Kwame.
It's Kwame. Kwame. Mm-hmm. Nice name. Nice name.
Thank you. I think so too.
Yeah. It's a little light for Kwame, no?
What?
A lot of names to pick, but it was a little darker, maybe.
Yeah, can you go?
That's very scary.
You need to get out.
Hey, any guys want ginger ale?
Get the fuck out.
New mother telling him to get the F out. That's hilarious.
Yeah, not very PC of me, but you know what? Brandon Ayuk, you suck. You're the worst.
Did Brandon Ayuk?
All right, get back to the list.
Did Brandon Ayuk sleep with your wife or something? You are very aggressive towards him tonight.
Well, no, I have been. I just think it's hilarious what he did. He cost himself so much money. He fucked over his teammates. Again, I'm one of these guys that's not like, oh, NFL players are so overpaid. They're not overpaid. You work your ass off to get this position, but to just shit in the face of everyone around you, your teammates, your coaches, your support staff, your agents, yourself, is just what's his issue, man? You're not Antonio Brown yet. You're too young to have these mental issues. And, whether it's concussions or not, I don't care. The guy just threw away, $40 million? Is that right?
Yeah, call it 40 million.
Let's call it 40 million. At least Le'Veon Bell, I can understand. He was fat on that jet ski. I understand that. But Brandon Ayuk, yeah, I don't think Brandon Ayuk was ever that good in the first place. That's my thing. He didn't deserve that contract. And he got it, and he just said, fuck it, I'm not going to show up. And speaking of saying fuck it, here's Helen Hunts. Hello, Helen.
Hello, Helen.
There she is. Before we get to the list, I have to shout out to a couple new Patreon members. Hetcher finally joined. Appreciate you, Hetcher. You're in. We're talking to you in the Discord, as well as Jonathan, who upgraded to get in the Dynasty League. And then is there one more I'm missing? I mean, either way, you guys are all the shit. We appreciate you. It is Eric M, possibly. Derek upgraded. Anyways, appreciate you guys. And besides just supporting your boys here, which is a big perk, you get a lot of other good stuff too. A lot of other good stuff. We have the Dynasty League starting up. That's probably too late for you guys if you want to join. But 7 or 8, 6 or 5, 8, 9, 10. We don't know. A lot of numbers of redraft leagues coming up in July and August for you guys. Sign up now. Get in there. Guest appearances on the show. Free merchandise giveaways. I have the shirts coming on Monday. I have new hats coming on Friday. I give away shit every single month, as well as access to the early plays in these bets. Story, we're going to have some college football bets this year from you. Yours truly. Story is the college football guru, as well as NFL 96 and 58 last year, gentlemen. So if you want to get in on these early plays and make some money, you'll actually make way more money than you ever donate to the channel if you bet enough. We win money. That's what we do.
Very exciting. Very exciting time to join right now.
It is. Yeah, you get a discount because shit's going to go up too if you don't get in the next couple months because, $5 a month for the picks is just unreally cheap. Like, people are charging $100 a month for picks that are bad picks. We're charging $5 a month for like proven winners. Get in here. Get in. And what do we call it? Story? We call it it's the place to be.
It's what do you call it, Kramer? It was. Come on, already. What? Come on. We call it the place. The place to be. Yes.
All right. Time for the next name here. We have, I got to scroll up because I put it in the comments. It is Bucky Irving and Breece Hall. This one's pretty gross. Story, Bucky or Breece? Full PPR.
Yeah, I know I did say I don't want anything to do with the New York Jets, but there is one exception, and that is Breece Hall. All the news around Bucky Irving has been very bad for this offseason. The re-signing of Sean Tucker there really puts a death knell to our hope.
Oh, did Sean Tucker actually re-sign? I didn't think it was official.
Pretty sure he did. Tom, correct me if I'm wrong there.
Oh.
I thought I saw the same thing you did.
Pretty sure he signed not that long.
Tucker. Yeah, I didn't see him signing. I thought they were on the fence about him. They placed tender on him 8 days ago. Doesn't mean they actually have him.
Well, okay, so placing tender essentially means that he's
planning on retaining him.
Yeah. So
okay,
yeah.
So let's do this at planning on that Sean Tucker's back. So Breece Hall, right?
Yeah, I mean Hall flashed 80 plus reception upside. I mean he's got some of the advanced stuff. The explosive, the run rate, explosive run rate is very high. It's a 3-down roll. We want Braylon Allen to be a thing, but the Jets don't really seem interested in doing that, despite our misgivings. You got a huge committee risk with Bucky Irving. His share, his red zone share, completely plummeted. I don't think he had a carry inside the 5-yard line when he came back from injury last year. Breece Hall profiles as a league-winning kind of running back, and they're comfortable feeding him the ball even when they're losing. So I don't think that Breece Hall has RB1 overall upside, but he definitely has top 5 upside. Now that's probably a stretch, but where Bucky Irving's being drafted, it's a huge risk. His profile screams stay away from me.
Tom?
Yeah, I mean, you could have put you could have gone down a round of running backs that, whatever's below this round, and I'd be taking them over Bucky. I am not a Bucky believer whatsoever. When you come out as a 190-pound running back and you're not fast or explosive, what do you do? Like, what are you going to do for me? Like, Breece Hall is built like your ideal workhorse running back. He's got the receiving chops. Bucky, I want to say he ran like a 4.55, 4.56, something like that. As a 190-pound running back, like, you need to be elaborate and elusive in space. Speed score was very low for it's all relative to size, but I want to say he was sub 90.
Well, if he's not scoring from the 40-yard line, how is he going to score if they have Sean Tucker back? You know what I'm saying? He doesn't have. If he was fast, then maybe it's a discussion because better offense, better player, possibly. but
Exactly,
you
that's
can't
the thing.
score from outside the 25-yard line.
And if you can't score from outside the 25, you're definitely not scoring in the red zone. I mean, that all that short yardage and goal line stuff is going to be Tucker. They'll probably bring in another back because Bowles likes his trio.
Don't forget, they signed Kenneth Gainwell. So
Yeah,
Yeah.
Kenneth Gainwell, that's the problem. That's the biggest problem. He's better than Rashad White.
That's Rashad White plus right there. So, yeah, I mean, I think all of those things factored together. I don't have a reasonable leg to stand on to be like, there's faith in the Jets, but like Breece Hall is a good piece. And time again, he's shown that. The Jets slap a franchise tag on him. Who's to say they don't just run him into the ground and let him walk? I mean, even if they don't.
They should, because they didn't trade him. They didn't trade him for a fourth rounder. I know that seemed low, but like you got to take. They were having a fire sale last year. Just trade him and get what you can. So obviously they just want to keep him. Make life easier on the Gino, on the head coach, and so this is all. We're all in agreements here that it's not Bucky Irving. He is. Where would you be? Let's just do this. Where would you be comfortable? Let's just say Sean Tucker's official, which it seems like it might be. Sean Tucker and Gainwell, that's a running back room. And now Bucky could still get the goal line work, but it might be a split goal line. Gainwell's for sure getting the third down work and passing down work. Where would you be comfortable drafting Bucky? Because right now they're both going end of the third round, middle to end of the third round. Is it round 5? Like Bucky's a really interesting case of like a guy between the 20s. He's going to get 15 to 17 touches a game, but it's going to be that literally the low value touches we hate in fantasy.
Yeah, his rookie year was electric, but the fact that they signed Kenneth Gainwell, the fact that Bucky Irving is incredibly inefficient on the goal line and within the 10, within the 5, he's only converted like 5 out of 13 goal line attempts, something like that. He didn't have a single carry inside the 5 last year. It's I don't know, 6th round probably. It's like if Gainwell becomes a passing back, then what do we really get out of Bucky Irving? Like, there's no upside. There's no league winning there whatsoever.
So, Tom, where David Montgomery's been going the last couple of years, that end of 5, early 6, with Jahmyr Gibbs there, just because the touchdown equity in the offense, being a run-first offense, is that the range that Bucky would be comfortable going in? Because you're not getting the touchdowns, but you're getting more touches.
I mean, you kind of took the words out of my mouth. I was shooting for late 5th, early 6th. You're getting a running back that's going to do most of his damage, or he's going to need to do most of his damage between the 20s. And there are 2 other pieces that will supplement his workload. I'd be, and again, I draft running backs aggressively, but I wouldn't, unless I somehow get stacked at receiver, like I'd be looking at Bucky as a flex at best. I mean, I wouldn't want to trust him as my RB2 unless I was loaded in a 3 receiver league.
Yeah, you wait a while, get him as RB2, and he does have the upside of Bucky Irving is if last year was just rare and an aberration, if someone gets hurt, whether it's Gainwell or Sean Tucker's, hopefully Gainwell, in terms of his stock, now you get yourself an RB1, right? Now that's the upside, and the floor is still there. The floor is still there. 15 touches is still going to be good for 9 points.
I think the Bucks take a step back as an offense this year. And I think Bucky's going to be
right now is
8.5.
8.5 in Vegas right now for the Bucks.
I think I lean under right now with where they're at. Ibuka's really the only piece that I want out of that offense right now.
Ibuka. I didn't have an Ibuka question in here because I'm
glad you didn't.
Sucks. All right, let's move on. Let's move on to. Didn't post. It is Luther Burden or Rome Odunze. This is the same receiver room. Tom, what do you got for Rome or Luther Burden?
I like the upside swing of Burden here. I think, I think Burden's ability to play inside and outside. They typically keep Rome on the outside, and he's more than likely going to draw that top tier corner for the most part, at least for the beginning part of the year. And I mean, I think it was pretty promising the way that you saw Burden come on second half of the season once his target share kind of kicked up. I want to say it was either the Pittsburgh or Philly game. It was one of those games where you saw him get 6, 7 targets, and like once you get him the ball, then you see the special. You see what Burden can do with the ball in his hands, the yards after catch. And I think, the Bears kind of realized that late, but you also kind of had DJ Moore in that role where they didn't really know what to do with him. So they were moving him all over the place, getting him downfield targets, lining him up in the backfield, short area targets. Now that he's not there, it's just him and Loveland. And with the way that Loveland came on, he's going to be a factor that defenses are going to have to worry about. And I think that's really going to open things up for Burden.
Story, you agree? Or I know you're a Luther Burden truther.
I am a fan of Luther Burden breaking out next year, but I also think that Rome Odunze is going to continue his ascension. And a lot of what stymied him last year was injuries. What is the price difference between these guys in terms of draft costs?
Luther Burden's going 9 picks ahead of Rome Odunze right now.
Yeah.
So that's the thing. I'm a Rome guy too, because they're tied for me.
It's close, but I think I'm going to go with the cheaper guy, and I think I'm going to go with Rome. And he had a high end target share. The Bears utilized him as a rookie, where they didn't utilize Luther Burden. He was kind of forced onto the field when Rome Odunze was hurt, and Colson Loveland is probably going to lead that team in targets next year. So for me, you got the proven NFL guy, Rome Odunze, there. I think it's a safer breakout bet. Like, I know that they got rid of Olamide Zaccheaus, but they did sign Khalif Raymond. And if the Bears still don't trust Luther Burden to play in two wide receiver sets, then Rome Odunze has already checked the harder box, and that's getting on the field.
Yeah, he's not. He is the X receiver, and they love playing 12 personnel. They love wacky formations, and the proof of that is it's Rome Odunze on the field. He's been not great. Story, the film, the drops, the some of the routes. It's not been worthy of the 9th overall pick in the NFL draft. And that entire class of 2024 has been pretty lackluster year 2. But I do believe in Rome Odunze. I like Luther Burden. I see the upside. I think he is very loosey-goosey with his routes. And this is what caused DJ Moore to get off the team is Ben Johnson is a stickler for being, the place you need to be, which is essentially our Discord and their Patreon. That's the place you need to be. Ben Johnson wants everyone to join our shit. But Luther Burden, electric with the ball in his hands. Yes, he has that over Rome, but Rome is the bigger body guy, better for the red zone. Caleb is willing to take those 50-50 shots. He's not going to throw to Luther Burden. So for me, it is Rome Odunze and a guy you can get currently 9 spots after Luther Burden. We're not even talking about that. We're saying in a vacuum, who you taking? It's Rome Odunze. It's really close, but I want Rome Odunze. I think he can catch 12 touchdowns next year. Do you guys think that's crazy, or do you think that's fair?
That's a little crazy. You still have probably bottom half inaccurate quarterback in the league there, so that might be a tough stretch. And I think that in terms of like who's going to lead the league in touchdowns at tight end, I honestly think that Colson Loveland could challenge Trey McBride for that.
Didn't Rome have 6 touchdowns through 7 weeks though, and then he broke his foot? So like he was on. I know it's a smaller sample. He was definitely on pace for more than 12. We've seen it though. I'm saying that the Burden thing is a projection. Rome, we actually seen it. The thing is, he did this without even playing that great. Like we all saw it with our eyes. He was above average at best in terms of ability and what he was doing on the field, and he still had those numbers. So it's Rome Odunze for me. Dog. Yeah, there it is. All right, no one has anything else up. Marvin Harrison or Brian Thomas Jr. This is a couple of year 3 receivers, just like Rome Odunze. A couple guys that have kind of been forgotten, and one on a bad offense, but they have the second coming of Tom Brady apparently in Brissett, and then Brian Thomas paired with a long-haired sissy. I guess we'll call him a long-haired sissy. Story, Marvin Harrison or Brian Thomas?
Yikes.
Round 5/round 6, even almost into round 7 for these guys.
Round 5, round 6. That's too pricey. I think that's fine it might be a little much for Brian Thomas. That's too much for Marvin Harrison for me. So Thomas, he had in his rookie year, had a top tier TD rate among all wide receivers, not just rookie wide receivers. Clear vertical threat, clear red zone threat. I know that they kind of stacked the wide receiver room, but they cleared the deck a little bit when they moved Travis Hunter over almost exclusively 2 cornerback. So I think that you got more upside. I think you got a better floor, cheaper price, maybe depends on where things kind of filter out. But I think people are still living off of Marvin Harrison Jr.'s name without actually going and looking and seeing the guy on the field. So I'll take even if it's the same ceiling, I'll take the same ceiling on what's sure to be a better offense.
Tom TD?
Yeah, I mean, price would be the only thing that makes me lean Brian Thomas. I mean, I would probably, if you put the price tags the same, I think I would lean Harrison, just because like you've seen him, like if he can graduate from just being Alec Pierce light and just being a go ball receiver, like if they expand his route tree a little bit, when you look at it, they're both probably the third best pass catching option on their team. I mean, with the Cardinals, you've got Michael Wilson and obviously Trey McBride and Jacoby Myers and Parker Washington. Honestly, I mean, he showed himself last year, and that solely exclusively locks Brian Thomas to the outside. And I know the touchdowns were there his rookie year, but I mean, dude was getting a bunch of targets. I mean, force-fed targets at points last year, and I think he walked away with 2 touchdowns on the year. Barely eclipsed 700 yards. I like Liam Cohen, and I'm curious to see Mike LaFleur and Nathaniel Hackett as their offensive coordinator. See what he can do as not an Aaron Rodgers puppet. I'll take the unknown and the marginal upside with Marvin Harrison over what I think is pretty landlocked in BTJ.
Isn't it wild that Parker Washington is now going essentially higher than Brian Thomas Jr.? I want to pat myself on the back of a guy that talked out Parker Washington for the entirety of the midseason, and a guy that what's funny is I dropped him, though. After I talked him up, I dropped him because Brian Thomas came back. So I kind of like get a check and a negative there. But Parker Washington's he's awesome, man. That guy is so fucking good. I do trust the Jacksonville offense more, but I know the passing volume will be there in Arizona. So I'm taking Marvin Harrison based on draft capital. They need to make Marvin Harrison a thing. As much as I'm the biggest Michael Wilson fan, story, in the history of the world. That being said, Michael Wilson's probably a better player right now, right this second, than Marvin Harrison. But we've seen the games when they played together. Marvin Harrison gets more routes, gets more targets, gets into the end zone targets, like the red zone targets. That matters to me. They have to make Marvin Harrison a thing. They have to kind of to make this seem less of a whiff because they took him number 4 overall, guys. And he hasn't been awful. He's been awful because he was drafted 4. If he was drafted 40, we'd be saying Marvin Harrison was a great pick. But he wasn't drafted 40. He was drafted 4th. I'm taking Marvin Harrison just in the fact that, he could become what we all hoped he was. I know Story was not a big fan of his college film. I personally was. And I think he's a good player. And I think his drops, his concentration, and his motivation have been problems. And I tie a lot of that to Kyler Murray, man. Kyler Murray is not a motivator. He's not a guy you want to play for. You mix that with Drew Petzing and the whole situation there with the coaching staff. Like, all those things this is all hypothetical. I don't know. Maybe Marvin Harrison's just a bum. But if his floor is catching 8 touchdowns a year, then that's pretty decent. Where Brian Thomas showed me a lot of big issues last year with going over the middle, alligator arms, injuries, the fact they signed Jacoby Myers, Parker Washington. We don't know what the hell is going on with Travis Hunter. Like, Travis Hunter could throw a wrench in this whole thing if they decide to play him at wide receiver. Now you have a 4-headed monster. Maybe they bring in another tight end. Brenton Strange is fine too. So for me, it is Marvin Harrison, but it is really close. But I'm taking Marvin Harrison. I kind of want to avoid both these guys, but I will take Marvin Harrison at cost right now. All right, we got to get to some quarterbacks. What do you got, Story?
Well, I get it, but I'd rather have the guy that had an outstanding rookie year, when he had 10 touchdowns and 1,300 yards receiving, versus a guy that's been fine. It's just fine. Like, I don't need fine at this point in the draft. I need upside, and Brian Thomas has shown it. But I get it.
Okay, this is kind of a joke one before I get to the quarterbacks. This is kind of a fun one I wanted. This is my 20th one that you didn't see in there. It says threesome, if you notice in the picture below, would you rather? Threesome. So, would you guys rather have a threesome with 2 5s? We're talking rankings chicks, like 2 5s. You know, a little frumpy, a little chunky, not that pretty butterface. Or just have a one, you know, just with one person, she's an 8. We have a threesome with 2 5s, 2 chicks, which is rare. It's hard for, I don't know if you guys ever done that. You don't have to reveal that. A threesome with 2 5s or just one night with 1 8, an 8 solid.
This is easy.
Would you rather have?
I'll take the 8 all day long. Yeah. Like threesomes.
I'm taking the 2 5s.
They take self-awareness. They take rules. They take inner security, emotional intelligence, like stuff that I don't know that I could have in a.
But they're down. They're down to fuck. You don't have to like drug them like Bill Cosby.
Yeah. No, I'm going to stick with the 1-8. Like, I don't know, without having any experience with threesomes, I don't know. You need self-awareness to, like, are you giving the attention to the right person? Are you secure enough in your own person if you're not getting the attention? There's a lot of factors that go into threesomes rather than just two chicks.
It's like Jerry. Like, I can't be a, what does it say? I can't be an orgy
one of those
guy.
guys.
Like, you know, a threesome is not an orgy guy. Let's be honest. It's not an orgy guy.
Grow a mustache.
No, you
Tom,
give me
you
the 2
said you
nickels.
want the 2 5s.
You give me the 2 nickels all day.
Yeah, you can always find an 8, right? You can't find 2 5s to bang.
I don't know if you guys have ever seen you watched that 70s show through and through, but there's one episode when you were talking about this, it just kind of like light bulb in my head, where it was an episode where all the guys were complaining to Kelso about Jackie, and it was just berating him the whole episode. And like at the end of it, he's just like, "Who's getting some? Anybody?" And he puts his hand up. That would be me. I'd be like, you know, people would be giving me shit about, you know, the 2 5s or whatever. I'd just be like, "Who's at a threesome?" Me. I have. Anybody else? No? All right. End of discussion.
Well, because most likely you're not having a threesome with 2 8s. That's really hard to find, right?
Oh, no, I know my
are definitely down to
shortcomings.
fuck.
Yeah.
Well,
I know my
you're
shortcomings.
very
I'm not
short.
falling for it.
Your shortcomings are you being short. Other than that, you're very handsome.
Yeah.
They even out.
All right, moving on. We have Drake May or Jaden Daniels. Let's preface this with a 4 for a passing touchdown scoring. 4 for a passing touchdown, which may favor Daniels. That's why I'm going to add that in there because Drake May is going a little higher. Story, Drake May or Jaden Daniels?
This one boils down to a very simple thing for me. I don't really like the term because it seems a little reductive, but the Konami QB advantage, the rushing upside is really what drives this for me. I get the 4 versus 6 touchdown. I'm not as concerned about that, but you project Jaden Daniels for 600 to 800 yards rushing. That's a massive, massive fantasy advantage every single week. So, I mean, if he runs, he's scoring touchdowns on the ground anyway. I like Jaden Daniels all day long. And we see this every year with a classic rookie or second-year quarterback who comes out and then he posts big numbers. We saw it with Bo Nix, and they come out the next year. Things don't align perfectly. The efficiency drops. I don't think that Drake May coming off the board of the third quarterback is really smart in fantasy leagues.
What do you got, TD?
I've got a guy that, as a rookie, posted a 70% completion percentage, 3,600 yards passing, 25 passing touchdowns, and a handful of rushing touchdowns. So 30-plus touchdown upside. Yeah, give me Daniels. I mean, I'm appreciative of what May did, and, you know, they're always going to be that whole, was it the schedule, was it not, you know, yada, yada, yada. I feel like we're going to learn that this year, give him a full first-place schedule, but the rushing upside of a guy that, you know, like Story said, could go for 8. Hell, I mean, he almost went for 900 yards as a rookie. I think it was high 800s. I mean, that is a difference maker that you can't pass up here.
So I'm going to put on the screen here the depth chart right now of the Commanders, and they don't have a second round pick or a fourth round pick. They do have the 7th overall pick, but as currently constructed, the running back room is JCM, McNichols, Rashad White, and Jerome Ford. Awful. But the wide receiver room is just as awful. It's McLaurin, it's Luke McCaffrey, it's Diami Brown. It's terrible. So in Chikakonkwo is their tight end 1. So they could maybe take one early pick and select a wide receiver or running back. It'll probably be a wide receiver. It might be Carnell Tate, which I wouldn't be a fan of. Does that scare you? Story with I'm Jaden Daniels too, but like it's because the rushing, and this might be an argument for his rushing because you're not going to have a lot of good weapons to throw the ball to. But Drake May has better weapons. As much as we don't think Drake May has great weapons, it's better than what Jaden Daniels has, dude.
Oh, certainly.
So does that scare you at all?
No, he's certainly he's got better weapons. You threw me for a minute there. I saw Jacoby Jones on that, like the former Ravens guy who passed away a couple years ago.
Yeah.
He was the rookie last year. That really threw me because Jacoby Jones played for the Ravens team that won the Super Bowl. There's no argument that Drake May has better weapons, but I do think that Tennessee's going to draft Jeremiah Love at 4, which is going to leave one of the top guys, whether they're like Tate, whether they're like Lemon, whomever it is, 4. I think the Commanders are just going to go all in on the offense and bolster that wide receiver room. So it doesn't scare me terribly, especially because that running floor, 800 yards rushing gets you a lot of extra points.
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm hoping. I'm saying I'm hoping. I would love to see the Commanders go offensive weapon at 7 because everything that I've seen for the most part mock draft wise has them going defense because they could definitely use some help there. I mean, I definitely see how a Tate or a Lemon would pair well with McLaurin. You've got that deeper downfield guy. Let Tate operate in that intermediate area of the field. And honestly, like Daniels loves his tight ends, and even when he was hurt last year, like Zach Ertz was stupid efficient, and he was 32, 33. I mean, he was up there in age. So a younger, faster, more explosive tight end. I think, you add one piece into that offense, whether that be a running back that can catch passes out of the backfield or just free up Daniels for rushing or another receiver. I think he takes off.
As much as I love Chikakonkwo, like he's not good. Like he's fast, but he's not like good. You know what I mean? Like he's not. If he's your second option in the passing game, that's not a ringing endorsement of like this passing game scares me, and that's the current construction of this offense that is your second option. That's dog shit. All right, next name here. We have some more quarterbacks. Jay Moore, sorry, all you guys asking questions. We have a lot of names to get through here. So if I just answer questions, we would be on here for 4 hours. So I will stick around after these guys get off and finish all your questions. If you want to super chat, and we will pause the show and get to your question. Otherwise, just stay patient and we will get to all of them. Jackson Dart or Justin Herbert, Tom. Same thing, 4 for a passing touchdown. I know these lists are very good. Thank you. I do a very good job at my what I do. These are very tough. This is a very tough one for me too.
I lean Jackson Dart here, and a lot of it is I think it's more offensive philosophy, where I definitely think the Chargers are going to want to be more of a balanced team this year. And I think that could potentially limit Herbert's upside to a point. You've got the rushing upside and floor with Dart. Now, obviously that comes with a little bit more of an injury risk, but at this point in the draft, like you're not looking for your safe floor guy. You're looking for somebody with a little bit more upside. And a lot of talks about the Giants potentially going receiver at 5. Like they know that they need to add another passing weapon. They've got Neighbors who, I mean, I don't like how much you haven't heard about his injury status to this point. Like there's been news on Scatterberg. There's been news on Dart. There's been news on everybody but Neighbors to this point, it seems like. But once he's healthy, you've got Likely there. An improved coaching staff for sure. Like I think the upside here lays with Dart.
I'm with you 100%, Tom. We already talked about the running upside of the quarterback. Herbert's been under 300 yards rushing per season. Dart is that dual threat ability. I do agree. I have concerns about Neighbors. Him being on crutches around the Super Bowl is very concerning. But at 5, they'll probably add somebody, and I think it's probably going to be Cardinal Tate. If you had to ask me, I think he's that good. Dart's got that modern fantasy profile that we want, even again in a 4-point per touchdown. This is upside. Herbert's safe, right? But safe doesn't win you leagues, right? Safe. I don't want the quarterback 13. I don't want the quarterback 10. It doesn't really do anything. I want a guy that's got top 5 upside being drafted outside of that range, and that's Jackson Dart. Herbert's he's going to have a couple of weeks here and there, but all in all, like at the end of the season, he'll probably end up as quarterback 11, and he won't have advanced your fantasy team.
Dude, man, I agree with Jackson Dart. I actually think Justin Herbert has higher upside, believe it or not, because what he did with his legs last year was unreal. Now, Jackson Dart's getting those quarterback draws on the 7-yard line all fucking day, every day with Brian Daboll. Maybe that continues, and maybe he's going to call his own number. So he has the rushing touchdown upside, but Justin Herbert has equal rushing yard upside, honestly, what you saw last year. Now, maybe that was because the offensive line was so terrible, but the coordinator in the offense is better in LA, and I think Justin Herbert is a better quarterback than Jackson Dart at this stage of his career. I'm still going Jackson Dart, but I think Justin Herbert actually has more upside than you guys are giving him credit for. So Jackson Dart has that he has the higher floor because he's going to run his fucking brains out. The dude just he can't not run, right? He can't. And when this range of the quarterbacks, like Tom said, you don't care about floor, right? You care about upside. You care about a guy that's weekly upside. And Jackson Dart is that. Now, how many games will Jackson Dart play? I have no idea. It's not going to be more than 14. You guys agree with that?
Yeah, he'll miss a game here and there, but the beauty of fantasy football is it's not like you're missing those points. You pick up a streamer off the waiver wire. You're Justin Fields, who's now on the Kansas City Chiefs, I believe.
Yeah, there you go. All right, moving on. Sam Laporta or Kyle Pitts story. Give me your answer here. This is easy as fuck for me. You know me. What do you got?
I know you're going Laporta, and I was a huge fan of Laporta before his rookie year. He proved me right, and then the sophomore year was a huge step back. I mean, Pitts' athleticism is incredible. He had 1,000 yards as a rookie. I think his athletic ceiling has yet to be unlocked in this offense. The QB concerns are obviously still there, but you're getting a guy that I think has underwhelmed. So I think you're getting him on a discount, who still has potential overall tight end 1 upside just based on the profile. So I think I'll take the dip on what is an elite talent versus Laporta, who's just kind of a steady Eddie guy at tight end.
Tom, tell me he's wrong.
Yeah.
Tell me he's wrong, baby. Get a beer.
Yeah. I mean, he's wrong, but he's not that wrong. Like, again, as somebody that avoided Pitts like the plague when he came into the NFL, because I needed to see something, like just, the metrics and the profile and the comparables. Like, yeah, it's all there. But, I mean, from the point that he was being drafted when he came into the league, like, price was way too high for me as somebody that typically punts tight end. So he was never really going to be a thing for me. Last year was the first year that I got any exposure to Kyle Pitts. And come fantasy playoffs, I'm very happy I did. But outside of, former Pitts owners from last year or people that played against Pitts in week 15 or 16 where he went nuclear, those are the only people that I think are really going to chase him. I lean Laporta just because the massive touchdown upside that is still there, even though Ben Johnson is not. And you can definitely tie a little bit of Laporta's rookie success to Ben Johnson. I mean, that was his guy. He was the one pounding the table for him. And at this point, like, I would take the steady, consistent production at tight end and hope for a little bit of positive touchdown regression for Laporta versus taking the upside swing with Pitts. And on the weeks that he strikes out, like, dude will go 3 targets, no catches.
David Montgomery's also gone, which is a feather in his cap. That's some touchdowns that Isaiah Pacheco is surely not stealing. Story, you mentioned you're chasing the number 1 overall upside in Pitts, right? Sam Laporta has a number 1 overall tight end finish. Like, so you're assuming that Kyle Pitts has his upside. You're saying that Sam Laporta doesn't, even though we've seen it from Sam Laporta as a rookie. So what is it that changed for you for Sam Laporta? As you know, I hate Sam Laporta. I made a lot of cum slut jokes about Sam Laporta as a rookie. And it's kind of been justified in a little bit because I feel like he's just a guy, but he's just a guy tied to Jared Goff and in that offense. So
was this not your BTJ versus Marvin Harrison argument like 10, 20 minutes ago? Like, you've seen him do it. He did it his rookie year.
Yeah.
And now you're hoping with this?
We've seen 2 years of mediocre production. His usage has changed significantly. He was kind of forced into that role his rookie year. And they do yeah, I mean, the wide receiver room hasn't changed. Isaac Tesla should take a step forward in here. I mean, again, like, this one, they're both kind of gross, but I'm going to go with the athletic profile. Laporta, like, again, great dude. Helped me win a fantasy championship. Never going to have a bad word.
Great dude.
But I can't get there. Like, I don't want mediocre tight end production. I want a guy that's either going to win me my week or he's going to bust. And if he keeps busting, then he's going to the waiver wire. I'm going to find somebody else. But I don't want the.
You're not worried about the quarterback situation there in Atlanta because it's Tua and Penix versus Jared Goff.
Well, I mean, the nice thing is he's a tight end. So what are we really worried about? Downfield throws? He doesn't go downfield. So dump offs, like underneath, crossing routes, mesh plays, like that's where tight ends live. So yeah, I don't want the tight end. I don't want the tight end 8. I want the tight end 2, or I want the tight end 16 when I draft.
Wow. Eloquently said from Story. Let's move on here to some other quarterbacks here going in the mid rounds. We have Kyler Murray or Malik Willis. Now, Malik Willis has been stripped of all of his weapons with Jalen Waddle being out of town. I can tell you this right now. I think the perfect draft pick, what they're going to do is KC Concepcion. With that pick they got from Jalen Waddle. That's a nice little replacement. But he doesn't comp as a guy that's going to be pro-ready right away to, like, break the bank. And you're looking at Jalen Tolbert, your own Tom, Jalen Tolbert. You're looking at Malik Washington. Yes. You're looking at Greg Dulcich. It's gross. And Devin Achane, who might be moved, by the way. Devin Achane is a prime candidate to be traded because they might as well just tear it all down. They're not winning with Devin Achane on this roster. So 4 for a passing touchdown. Story, Kyler or Malik Willis?
I'm completely off of Kyler Murray whatsoever. Malik Willis is an unknown. You got 2 years of subpar production in Tennessee versus limited snaps, limited throws. We don't know what Malik Willis is yet, but what we do know is that he runs the ball. He's got elite rushing per snap rates in limited action. So small sample or small passing rates, small snaps, but he rushes when he does. And his rushing yards last year were 40 yards, 50 yards, 60 yards per game. Just a pure upside bet. These are both late round guys, lottery tickets. I like the one that I think has a better odds of returning really great value. So if Malik Willis starts, which he will, he's immediately fantasy relevant.
Story's a fucking conductor with his goddamn pen just fucking hitting us in the face.
Yeah.
You agree with Story?
I do.
Agree with Story?
I don't have a pen. I do agree with Story.
Better get one, motherfucker.
Pass. Yeah, I don't love the weapons there, and I will again as somebody that punts tight end to the umpteenth degree. I didn't hate Dulcich when he was in Denver. That 1 or 2 years that he had there, and he was relatively productive when he can get the ball in his hands. As far as outside receiving weapons, yeah, there's nothing to be. There's a lot left to be desired.
If your
there.
argument for Malik Willis, you're mentioning Greg Dulcich, dude, like you lost the argument. I like Greg Dulcich too. UCLA, right? Story UCLA.
UCLA is on.
I'm a fucking genius, by the way. Appreciate that. Thank you, guys. I'll take give me a round of applause. It's the rushing stuff, and go. I want to hear Kyler Murray take because Justin Jefferson, Jordan Addison, and Kevin O'Connell, a proven coach and coordinator. It's not enough for you?
Well, it's not, because how many games is Kyler starting this year? You know, if you could promise me
All of them.
16,
All of them.
he's
What are you
not.
talking about?
Time out. Rob, you said, and I quote, the Cardinals need to make Marvin Harrison happen. They need to, because they drafted him at 4 overall. And you're telling me now that the Vikings don't need to make Justin or JJ McCarthy happen? There's a disconnect there, because he was number 1 overall pick.
No. He was number 10 overall pick. But
Yeah.
JJ McCarthy can't play. There's a difference. Marvin Harrison's still a fine NFL receiver. Justin Jefferson's a backup at best, bro. He's 23 years old. He's got to marinate some more. Kyler Murray's only 28, dude. So, all right, you guys are both on Malik Willis. Is what I'm hearing. You're saying Malik Willis. Malik Willis.
Oh, yeah. Pretty clearly.
The little bit of success that you've seen Willis have was there in Green Bay, and Hafley is now the coach there in Miami. And he knows that the way that you get production out of Willis is keeping his pass attempts low. I mean, I think it was 2 sets in the teens, and I think he threw 21 passes was his max in Green Bay. Hafley's going to see that. He's going to know how to use them to the best of his ability. He's going to run the ball, and that's where you're going to get the value from him. And he's going to play more games than Kyler.
It'd be funny if I said Malik Willis after all that. I'm still taking Kyler Murray, because Kyler Murray has been a top 10 quarterback every single year besides this last 2 years. I know it sucks it's the last 2 years. That was also with Drew Petzing and this clown show in Arizona. So this is not a clown show in Minnesota. We've seen way less quarterbacks. Joshua Dobbs have relevance. Nick Mullins. Kyler Murray's better than those guys. It's Kyler Murray for me, because he might run this year, because this is a prove-it year. I love the prove-it year for these quarterbacks. And Malik Willis this year has a lot of Justin Fields vibes, man. And it you can't say it doesn't, because you can't tell me Malik Willis is more proven than Justin Fields was going into.
I don't think so. I don't think Malik Willis is proven at all. I think there's a big mystery box with Malik Willis, but we know what Kyler Murray is. Kyler Murray's the safe prize. He's the $5,000 prize. I want the mystery box. I want the box with the question marks on it in Malik Willis. That could be a boat, right? You got your $5,000, but it could be anything in the box. Could be a boat. I want the boat. The chance at the boat.
I love Malik Willis too. Again, I love him coming out of Liberty. I've always loved Malik Willis. So I guess my thing is I love both these guys, and I'm going to be drafting both these guys. But give me the safer option in Kyler. But I think Kyler also has higher upside because Justin Jefferson, Jordan Addison, Kevin O'Connell, and his legs. So that would be my answer. And let's get to the next name here. You're going to love this one, Story. You're going to love this one. It is Matthew Golden or Jaden Higgins. I spelled it Higgin. My bad. Higgins. Tom, TD, what do you got? Matthew Golden or Higgins? These are wide receiver 5 types. Wide receiver 4, wide receiver 5 types.
Yeah, and it's getting ugly at this point. I like Higgins, the prospect and talent, more. And let me preface by saying that, because as much as I don't want to do this at this point in the draft, I probably lean Golden for the upside. And, it's not going to be pretty, because I think he's going to be utilized a little bit more in Green Bay. And again, the whole first round pick, you got to get some uses out of him. His only move is run fast and run down the field. And Love is a relatively decent deep ball thrower. And at this point, I'm taking ceiling over floor on just the hope that, some of these deep downfield shots connect a little bit more. He becomes a relatively consistent piece in the offense. I mean, Green Bay, with shipping out Dobbs, it frees up a little bit of space in that receiver room. And I think kind of just by default, he's going to get on the field. So while I think, again, Higgins is probably the more superior NFL-based receiver talent, Golden could be the one. Could be. So give me the potential of a boat.
He wants the boat. What do you got, Story?
Yeah, I'm in on Jaden Higgins very easily on this one. Higgins 6'4", 215. He profiles with elite size-adjusted athleticism. The dude is an absolute monster. He was a monster at Iowa State. They need a wide receiver 2 there to step up. His red zone usage was very impressive as a rookie last year. I mean, he's got the profile of like a TD, like a high TD guy, like a 9-10 touchdown guy. He's got that archetype. And I'm chasing touchdowns in the wide receiver 4 or 5 range, not just targets. And in fact, Golden has neither touchdowns nor targets. He had 1 touchdown last year, and it came in the postseason. So with that, Green Bay has shown they have no problem rotating through their wide receivers. I don't trust them to force Matthew Golden onto the field. I like Jaden Higgins here.
I am taking, this is loaded for me because I am taking Matthew Golden in best ball, but I am taking Higgins in redraft because Nico Collins has not necessarily stayed as healthy as you think he would. And Higgins will comp to that number 1, where if there's an injury in Green Bay, they're going to keep on rotating these motherfuckers like hockey lines. So the upside of Matthew Golden is not really there. For my wide receiver 4, wide receiver 5, I want a guy that could emerge and be a possible league winner with injury. And even without that, I feel like they have similar profiles, similar snap share, similar target share. But best ball, it's Matthew Golden. In redraft, it is Higgins. You guys agree with that take?
No, I don't. I still will go Higgins both ways.
All right, moving on. Josh Downs. This one's good. Josh Downs or Jalen McMillan from the Buccaneers. This is full PPR. This is, I feel like, one of the closest ones I have on here. Maybe you guys can prove me wrong. Story, Downs or McMillan? No Mike Evans.
Like, there's a few guys later on the list you can make an argument for. I don't think you can make an argument for drafting either one of these guys in redraft realistically. If you're looking for like best ball, I would go, McMillan. Evans moving on has opened up some opportunity. McMillan probably brings a higher average depth of target there than Downs. So big play, upside, ceiling swing. I want the guy that could give me some splash plays, and doesn't feel like Josh Downs is it. I'll go with McMillan.
TD?
I'm going against Story again. Give me Josh Downs here.
Same. I'm going Josh Downs too.
The overwhelming factor was, for me, I was kind of surprised to see it, but he had a 27-point-something% target share last year when he played. And all you do is get rid of Michael Pittman. So now he is pretty comfortably the second receiving or wide receiver on that team. Obviously, Warren's a thing, and he's going to get his share, but there's nobody else outside of Alec Pierce who runs downfield routes that's going to be, competing with him for targets outside of the tight end that, took a lot of the league by storm last year. So that's where a lot of that short to intermediate coverage is probably going to focus. And while McMillan is now probably the 3 on his team as far as target share goes, give me the guy that had a pushing 30% target share when he was the 3rd guy on his team, 4th guy potentially, with depending on how it shook out with Pittman. But like I said, I think the Bucs are in for a step back this year, and I think they're going to struggle. They're going to have to throw the ball. So, I mean, there is potential for McMillan, but I mean, like I said, I've seen it with Downs more than I've seen it with McMillan.
Well, your point of the 27% target share, which he's always been a very high target share player. The problem is he hasn't been a very high snap share player. That's because of Michael Pittman. And now Michael Pittman's gone, and then you pair that with the fact that if Daniel Jones plays week 1, let's say he's ready to play week 1, he won't be healthy. He won't be 100%. So they're going to be scheming up less plays downfield for Alec Pierce. That gets your quarterback hit more. You're going to be dumping the ball down and getting quick hitters to Josh Downs. So my answer is Josh Downs pretty easily in PPR and redraft. In best ball, it's close because I see the splash weeks. Jalen McMillan has those 3, 4, 5 giant splash weeks where he has 80 yards and a touchdown, where Josh Downs seems more of a 5 for 70 guy, right? 5 for 60, 6 for 70, which is I want in redraft. PPR has 13 points. I'm fine with that from a wide receiver 4/5. So for me, it's Josh Downs pretty easily, just because as much, I think that the Colts defense is going to be bad. I think the Colts are going to be bad, and you could say that if you like the Bucs, McMillan will fill that wide receiver 3 role. They signed Kate Otten again. They have all those running backs. Does Baker come back to the Baker that was, in contention for MVP? That's a possibility. And as much as I'm not really an Ibuka fan, you think I would be about McMillan. I am about both these guys. Honestly, I love both these guys, but I am more about Josh Downs. So you're going to like this next one. Let me put it on here. It is Isaiah Likely or Mark Andrews. Story, what do you got?
Mark Andrews. He's got multiple top 3 tight end finishes. He's going to be the red zone threat for the Ravens and for Lamar Jackson. So I like his touchdown opportunity. Isaiah Likely is gone. And any kind of targets that he might have sneaked away have been removed from that offense. So it's all wheels up for Charlie Cole is gone too, isn't he? Yeah. So
he gone.
Give me the discount on an elite production. I know he's another year older, but elite production guy. And Isaiah Likely, he's got an incredible athletic profile, but he's never been able to get on the field consistently. He's just not the guy that I think you need if you're going to be drafted a tight end in this round.
Yeah, I mean,
TD,
I'm right there with the Story. I think the red zone efficiency and just how much the passing game gets condensed when the Ravens get into the red zone. I mean, Zay Flowers is not that guy. And if the touchdowns aren't coming on the ground from Henry or Lamar or little side note here. I don't know if you guys saw the Athletic mock draft that came out with all the beat writers that were tied into the teams that did the draft. Yeah.
No.
Jeremiah Love fell 214 and the Ravens took him. And I was utterly disgusted. Because that's something the Ravens,
bro.
Yeah.
No, I very much agree. And that was the first time that I've seen that happening, but that would be the most Ravens thing possible to happen. But no, going back to
Raven.
I think the Ravens told us who the better tight end was when they had the opportunity to pay Likely during the season, and all they did was give Mark Andrews a 3-year extension at his age, and they let him walk.
Same money too. It was 3 years, $28 million for Andrews. 3 years, $30 million is what it's Likely got. So same money.
Yeah. Maybe the change of scenery helps him. I mean, I think he's going into a offense that's not as prolific potentially as what the Ravens already have, and now you've got more mouths that are going to be competing in the red zone area. You got Dart that can run them. You got Scadaboo. I mean, they're a potential Love team as well if he makes it to 5. Neighbors, if not, then they add potentially another receiver. It's just too many mouths there. Give me Andrews.
Yeah, and we like Theo Johnson on this channel, so that's an issue. Andrews. Now, if they draft Kenyon Sadiq, we're definitely taking Isaiah Likely, which is in play at 14 for Kenyon Sadiq for the Ravens. You could see them doing that and essentially drafting him as a slot receiver because he is Isaiah Likely on steroids. We all agree with that one? Same kind of player, just much faster.
Well, I mean, yeah, in terms of athletic, maybe I don't know, he's faster. He's not that much bigger. Yeah, but in terms of
way faster, bro. Isaiah Likely's a 4.7 guy. 4.7 for Isaiah Likely. He plays a lot faster. I love Isaiah Likely, but it's night and day comparing Isaiah Likely to Kenyon Sadiq, bro. Night and day.
I get more Evan Ingram vibes.
Yeah. Sadiq is guaranteed to go in top 20 of the NFL draft. Where was Isaiah Likely drafted?
Second round.
I want to say 4th round.
Yeah.
Fourth?
3rd or 4th. Yeah.
The NFL has consistently told us how they feel about Isaiah Likely.
Are we strong about this Andrews take? Let's just say that there is no Sadiq draft pick, and let's also say that the Giants don't take Carnell Tate or something. The status quo with the depth charts we have with these teams. Mark Andrews for the 10+ touchdown upside. I know it seems crazy to say. He's done it many times. They just signed him. He also gets the tush push like Mark Andrews. It's pretty simple.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty straightforward.
All right. Moving on. We have two more names here. Brandon Ayuk or Deebo Samuel. Now, this is who would you rather sign? Obviously, both these guys are unsigned at the moment. If you were a random team, let's say you were the Rams, you want to get a third receiver, or you were, I don't know, the Raiders, you want to get a first receiver, essentially. Is it Ayuk or Deebo? What do we got? No one wants to answer this one because it's tough.
Take it, Story.
No one wants to answer
Yeah. So you're taking a stab either way on these guys. I think Debo's washed. Ayuk, when he was playing before the injury, he had 3 bad games, 1 good game. Prior to that, he posted elite yards per route run, 2.5 plus in multiple seasons. That is top of the league. Like, that is just incredible. So give me them like a guy that God, this is tough. Like, but if he's on the field, his projection is cleaner. I think Deebo is, he's a big guy. He's kind of lost it. He's lost a step. He's over the hill. Ayuk can still win routes. He can still win downfield. Deebo needs like design touches, and if a team's not willing to do that for him, then there's just not a lot of meat on the bone. So again, you're taking a late round stab on either one of these guys, but I guess Ayuk.
Tom, this is the perfect clip for these two players. Why would it be about Ayuk or Deebo? Who are you going to sign?
I was between that and Muhammad.
Why the fuck would it be between that or Muhammad? Why don't you just pick a common name like a normal person?
Muhammad is the most commonly used name on earth. Read a fucking book for one.
Very accurate.
Yeah, you're not wrong there. As far as random team goes, I feel like it's kind of going to be like, what do you need more? I feel like Ayuk, in a vacuum, I lean Ayuk just with the potential upside that is still possibly there with him being 2-3 years younger. I mean, Deebo was never one of those guys that, per se won with speed. So, like, I'm not really afraid of him losing a step. So I could still see him being a potential, like, short area target, a guy that you can use out of the backfield, give him some handoff still, let him operate in the slot, be a complement, like an underneath option to a team that's got a vertical threat. Like, I mean, I know he was just there and not particularly utilized overly well, but like a team like Washington could use somebody to complement that vertical threat in Terry McLaurin. I still lean Ayuk just because I think the potential unknown, and if he still got it or not, is there, and he can still win with his speed and his route running ability. Line him up outside, line him up inside. If you can get him as a number 2 or number 3, like, I think he has the ability to be a number 2 in an offense, where I feel like Deebo's pretty much going to be a 3 at best.
Deebo, a nice spot for Deebo would be a team like the Rams. Sean McVay knows how to use them. Ayuk is most certainly going to the Commanders with that depth chart they have there of Diami Brown and Luke McCaffrey as their 1 and 2, or their 2 and 3, and Chikakonkwo as their stud tight end. Like, and they have no running back, so it's like Ayuk is perfect. Will you guys be about Brandon Ayuk if he signs with the Commanders? Because it's worth a shot. If this is your wide receiver 5, he could emerge and actually kind of do the same thing that Terry McLaurin does. Or am I just crazy with this? Because I hate Brandon Ayuk, but it's the ability, it's the opportunity for Brandon Ayuk, and this is it for him, right? If he flames out, he is gone. He is not getting another dollar in the NFL.
I mean, I think you got to find a team to play ball with him first. I feel like a team would be more apt to play ball with Deebo.
The latest on Ayuk is that the 49ers are not willing to release him, which means that he would stay there and just kind of languish. So you're saying if he gets signed by the Commanders, sure, he's worth a shot. But
they're just waiting. They're waiting to kind of fuck him over because he fucked them over is what they're doing. They're going to wait till June 1st when most people do their post June 1st cuts. They actually do it now and they just designate it. They're saying we're going to hold on to you till June 1st because you're a piece of shit, and then now have fun getting work. And the thing is, it's probably going to be the Commanders. But the reason I do that is because most of these teams will fill their holes via the draft and pay you less. Is the reason why they're doing this.
He probably will be a camp signing, like an injury replacement during training camp. So
what an idiot! He's such a fucking idiot. Now he's a camp signee. He could have been one of the highest paid receivers on a fucking Kyle Shanahan offense. Jesus.
Yeah. I mean, it's also a pretty shitty thing of John Lynch to do. Like, come on, man, just let the guy go. Like,
don't let him go. Fuck him. Fuck him.
You're a multi-billion-dollar organization. Like, just get off your high horse and let the guy go play football somewhere else. Obviously, you don't want him on the team.
All right, we have one name left, 2 names left, I guess, for one little conversation. I'm going to stay on after these guys get off. I'll answer everyone's questions that we missed. Sorry, I wanted to keep this flowing. I will get to everyone's questions. Stick around. Last pair here, Isaac Tesla or Adonai Mitchell. I love this one personally. This is a really late deep dive. We're looking for upside at this point, boys. This is like round 14. This is one of your last picks in your redraft league. Story, Tesla, A.D. Mitchell. What do you got?
A.D. Mitchell, I think. Really great speed, right? Like, that guy's a 4.3 guy, downfield guy. He tested very, very well. He's showing, like, hints that he could be a really solid NFL wide receiver, whereas Tesla, a lot of touchdown catches, extremely, extremely limited role, and I don't see that really expanding that much in his second year. So projection risk is extremely high in both of these guys, but Mitchell has been around the league for a while. He's kind of proven that he belongs in that late round deep threat kind of guy. So I would go with Mitchell.
TD.
Yeah. I mean, again, you're swinging for the fences here, and they're both in a similar role, like stylistically. I definitely see the offensive limitation concerns with Tesla, but at this point, I think I'll go with Tesla. You know, I like the deeper ADOT with him. I think 16, 17 yard ADOT roughly. So the target share is not there, but he's definitely a guy that they've shown that they want to use in the red zone. 6, 7 touchdowns off of sub 20 catches, I want to say. So kind of lean him towards your best ball argument versus redraft. Like, I would definitely lean Tesla in any sort of like redraft or not redraft, like a dynasty or keeper league here. And while I think A.D. Mitchell still got a little bit to prove, and I'm not wrong, he's still with the Jets, right?
Correct. He's the number 2 in the Jets.
Yeah.
Where Tesla is the number 3 or number 4 if you want to count Sam Laporte. He's number 3 receiver on the Lions.
Yeah. Give me the number 3 receiver on a prolific offense versus the number 2 on the middling Jets. And
I'm going to take Tesla.
No
I love A.D. Mitchell, bro. Go ahead, TD.
I was just saying, I don't really know what the long-term future looks like for Jameson Williams there. I mean, they haven't really made much of an effort.
He's got a lot of money. He's got a lot of money. A lot of years.
He got paid.
Did he get paid last year?
He's got 3 years left and like fucking $60 million, bro.
He got paid a buttload of money.
Gross.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't blame anybody going Tesla. Like, I certainly see the argument for both of these guys.
I have the answer. You guys want the answer? Do you want the real answer from the host of the show, the guy that knows fantasy more than anyone in the world? Thank you. Pat myself on the back a little bit. How you doing? What's going on? It's a shallow league. The answer is Tesla, because if you're taking your last round pick, Tesla has an ability to crack your lineup with an injury. In a deeper league, the answer is A.D. Mitchell, because A.D. Mitchell is going to be on the field for 90% of the snaps, and I like his ability. So, like, A.D. Mitchell will never be a top 15 receiver, even if Garrett Wilson got hurt. Isaac Tesla isn't going to be a top 36 receiver without an injury, but if there's an injury, Isaac Tesla could be that dude later in the season, because he is a big play merchant. He catches touchdowns. I love his. They love him too. Let's not forget, they traded up for Isaac Tesla. Like, it was a weird trade up in the 3rd round out of Arkansas. Really weird. With his production story was not much in Arkansas.
He doesn't have any.
They love him.
He has got 0 college production. Like, his production profile is negative. It is wildly bizarre. He was out of nowhere this draft,
but he crushed it in the NFL. The weird thing is when he had the opportunity with more snaps, he actually did less. That's the concerning thing about Isaac Tesla. But like the touchdowns and the big plays were nice. They were really nice.
Nobody but the tight ends gets hurt in Detroit anyway. Like those wide receivers don't get hurt. So what are we talking about? We're going to hold on to a guy that like when he comes in, he might catch a touchdown, but he plays like 10% of the snaps.
No, that's why this was a great too, because there's a lot of moving parts here, and it's like, do you want, an ancillary piece on the Jets, or do you want a possible explosive player for a Lions offense that has been top 5 for 3 straight years? You know what I mean? Like, I know, sorry, you're just not very high in the Lions offense in general. You made this clear the last show, so
yeah,
that's where you're at. That's the problem with you.
Plus, we did see a couple of good games from A.D. Mitchell last year after he was traded to the Jets.
I love A.D. Mitchell. I talked about A.D. Mitchell for like 8 straight shows, and I was starting him in my high money leagues because of injuries, and he did fine. And I love A.D. Mitchell. I also love a receiver being tied to a Jared Goff. Literally throws for 4,000+ yards and 30+ touchdowns every season. It's going to happen. I can guarantee you it happens, especially that Montgomery's gone now. There's just no way it doesn't happen. The defense is not very good. That secondary sucks, bro. Sucks. And the Jets defense has a lot of veterans now. They have a lot of 35-year-olds. Aaron Glenn wants to suit himself up and play defense. He'd actually be more valuable to the franchise if he just played defense. Yeah, if he just played defense, he'd be better than coaching, sleeping.
Oh, 100%. No argument here.
Does Garrett Wilson coming back help or hurt A.D. Mitchell? Because all of A.D. Mitchell's production last year came without him.
Yeah, it doesn't help him, but
right,
I think they love A.D. Mitchell. I think they do love A.D. Mitchell, and the reports were now how long Aaron Glenn stays there is a big question. But Aaron Glenn's always been a giant fan of A.D. Mitchell, going back to like Pee Wee days. I read that report, and again, the Colts are morons. Like how nice would it be for A.D. Mitchell to be back in the Colts right now? Because they gave him up for essentially nothing. Like, wouldn't they rather have given up a first, and like a 6th and kept A.D. Mitchell? Instead, they're like, well, let's give away A.D. Mitchell, a former top 40 draft pick who just had a couple bad decisions and, whatever. Regardless, like, it was their team would be like, I would be really about Daniel Jones if they kept A.D. Mitchell. Now who are they going to roll out there? They still have who the hell is that old guy from the Vikings, the receiver? You know what I'm talking about?
Jalen Naylor?
No, the really old guy that was drafted really high. He ran a really good 40. Like, that's their third receiver. Like, they don't have a third receiver. Who's the third receiver on the Colts right now? Can you guys name it? No one can. Not Tyquan Thornton. It's like Tyquan Thornton. It's Laquan Treadwell. Treadwell. He's their third receiver. Yeah, he's their third receiver. Laquan Treadwell, year 11. That's rough, bro.
When the Colts end up drafting Malachi Fields, you're going to be singing a different tune.
Oh, I love Malachi Fields. Let's get it, son. I love Malachi Fields. What do you think about Malachi Fields, TD, before I let you guys go? Have you watched a lot of him? Do you know about him?
Yeah, no, I've watched a little bit of his tape. I've been slowly starting to make my way into offensive players. I like the profile. I think, he's going to be best suited relatively on a team that's not going to ask him to do too much. There's definitely a handful of receivers that I like better than him, and I think have like more specific styles of upside. But overall, I feel like Fields is just a more of a do-it-all type where you can ask him to do a handful of different things, and I feel like he's a guy that you can get a good bit of production out of the slot with him in. So, I mean, I think personally, if you can get him starting off as a number 3 style receiver on a team, I think he's going to, that's going to be his best chance to get his hands on the ball early, get him some easier targets, like scheme him up a little bit more and let him use his athletic ability to shine versus asking him to basically just go be a boundary receiver and try to have him running deeper style routes, getting if I'm remembering correctly, he struggles a little bit more against like a press man style. And correct me if I'm wrong on that one. I might be mixing him up with somebody else.
That is true. Story, you hate Malachi Fields, right?
I don't hate him. I just dislike every part about him. His production profile, his athleticism, his combine testing. I hate everything. I don't hate him. I just dislike everything about him. No, I don't dislike him that much, but I don't.
Better prospect Story, better prospect, Keon Coleman or Malachi Fields?
Like a pure prospect?
Yes, as a prospect coming out.
Yeah, Coleman was a better prospect. He just hasn't worked out in the NFL. Yeah. Facts are facts,
I don't
bro.
know about that one.
Facts are facts.
Keon Coleman was actually slower in the 40 and shorter and lighter. I'm saying he's smaller and slower and doesn't have the ball skills. Dude, Malachi Fields has elite ball skills, bro. Elite. Way better than Carnell Tate's. Way better than Carnell Tate's.
Third wide receiver on the Colts is Nick Westbrook-Akine.
They just signed Westbrook-Akine, yeah, but it was Laquan Treadwell before that.
He's still on the team.
Westbrook-Akine, what was it? Like 40 catches and 9 touchdowns at Tennessee. Then he goes to the Dolphins and has like 9 catches. Super weird. They signed him. They didn't use him. I always kind of like Nick Westbrook-Akine. I also like saying it like Cartman does in South Park. Keeney with Westbrook-Akine. I love that guy.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. Just saying, Malachi Fields and Keon Coleman ran the same exact 40 at the combine.
What are their sizes though? Like 6'4"? Keon Coleman ain't 6'4", dude. 6'2" and a half, 6'3".
So yeah, I don't. I'm just saying.
Okay.
Ball skills.
More
ball skills.
Like ball sack skills.
Oh man, don't be.
I had to look it up. Guys. It was Ashton Doolin who I was just racking my brain around. I remember seeing him. He wore like 15 or 16 last year, and I just remember seeing him make like a sideline catch or two, and I couldn't think about it when you asked that Colts question. I'm like, who the fuck was it? But yeah, I just looked it up in 2025. I guess he's not on the roster.
Like Ashton Doolin, bro.
He's not on the roster? Dude,
I didn't see him.
Malone College's Ashton Doolin. I'll never forget where that guy went.
We got Big Ray in the chat. Shout out Big Ray, who's coming on tomorrow's show for Open Bar. Who do you think Rays think will be the top offensive fantasy player in the first round that you guys believe in? Get Raid. Who do you think Rays think the top offensive fantasy player? So Ray's going to say Bijan. Give me a comment below this, Ray. Are you talking about who's the number 1 player? Can you guys help me with this question? I've been drinking a lot, so.
Is he talking about the NFL draft? Oh, fantasy. Like, yeah, is he talking about like the top fantasy player in